I think Nancy really wanted me to be on this panel so I could talk about how I don't do a lot of what's included in the course.
Yeah.
You know, if this were a real school, I'm sure I would be asked to stay after class in detention. And that's not totally true, but is partly true. All the things about allowing, exploring, trusting your intuition, all of those things were things that drew me into the class because they really resonate with me. And I was coming from a background of being mostly self-taught, but then when I did find an instructor who was quite good, her approach was very, I would say, academic. And I learned a heck of a lot of things from her. And her approach didn't really resonate, you know, but it helped me. I can't say that it didn't. But when I came across Nancy and saw how she was activating the canvas, I was like, oh, wow, yes, okay, I've got to know more about this. And then once I got into it, well, Nancy mentioned earlier that there's a little bit of introvert in her. There's a lot of introvert in me, and the way that shows up is I get really easily overwhelmed by too much information coming at me at once. And those of you who are considering taking the course, you are in for a real treat, and you are in for a whole heck of a lot of material coming at you. I mean, there's so much, and you can't possibly even think about absorbing it first go round. But so my reaction to feeling overwhelmed was there are several core things in this class that we're encouraged to do on a regular basis. Starts, what else? Maquettes,
Yep.
Journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do any of them. I confessed this a couple of weeks ago to the class. I was like, I have to let them know. And the reason is that I feel so easily overwhelmed. It's too much for me to take in. I just shut down. So, and the thing about the class and the way it's organized and the fact that it gives you permission and encourages you, one of the core concepts in the class is to trust yourself. And when I first started the class, I was really applying that to what wanted to come out of me when I was standing in front of the canvas. So what kind of mark I wanted to make, or what tool I wanted to use, or the color I chose. Trust that, trust that, trust that. And I was really consciously working with that concept because I didn't really trust that. Like a lot of us, we just don't think we know what we're doing, and therefore we're not really an artist. And so I was really consciously working with this concept of trusting myself. And then very recently, just within the last 4 or 5 weeks, probably, it occurred to me, it hit me like between the eyes. It's like, wait a minute. That trusting myself also applies to the way I'm doing my painting practice. Oh, wow. I mean, that's just huge. I still haven't taken it all in. And what that means for me is that however I'm choosing to do it, and however I'm able to do it, how often, how much work, that is okay for me, that I'm getting what I need in a way that I can take it in and move forward and learn. And if it doesn't look like exactly what we're encouraged to do, so be it, you know. And that's been a really huge thing for me in my practice. And I have to add a PS to that, since I shared this on our group call a couple of weeks ago.
I remember.
The PS is, recently I was looking through some of my previous starts. I do them occasionally, just not regularly. And I was looking at him thinking, oh, I like this. That was kind of fun to do. You know, I was just reviewing and remembering. And so then the question popped into my head is like, well, so what, why does it feel so overwhelming? What is it about doing the starts that feels so overwhelming? And what I realized was it's the prep work. It's getting all those little pieces of paper cut, because I have to clean off surfaces and pull out mats to cut on. And I mean, it's a huge,
very interesting.
It's a huge commitment to do that the way my studio is set up. I don't have a space just standing by waiting for me to go put paper on it and cut it. And it's like, oh, it's not the painting. I don't think it's the painting. I think it's all that prep. So what I decided to do, and I got the delivery yesterday, is I'm just going to buy 3 or 4 different sizes of sketchbooks, and I'm going to tear the paper out of the sketchbook already cut. No mess, no fuss. And we'll just see how that goes. But it feels, I can take a breath. When I think about doing starts now, I don't feel all tense and contracted and like, oh, I just can't do this. It's too much to fool with. So I'm excited to share that little insight with the group. And I'll keep you posted on how I progress. But I think that really was the stumbling block that was keeping me from doing that particular exercise on a regular basis. So I'm excited. I can't wait to give it a go.
I love that, Kay.
Yeah.
Tearing those sheets out, right?
Yeah. I mean, what could be easier than that?
And this is the kind of sharing that we do in this group. I mean, Kay's always on there early, and I'll get on there early, and we'll talk even ahead of, we have these live calls even after all the live calls. And and we'll get on there and just talk and just share, and then Kay will share with the group. And it's that kind of thing. I mean, it's the innovation and the risk taking and of the artist in there, just like you, and standing out there and saying, hey, this isn't me to do this every day. It doesn't work for me. And really, it is trusting yourself.
Yeah.
On every level. Yes, we have suggestions, and it may or may not work for you. And the biggest piece here is trusting yourself, because we want you to come through on that canvas, on that paper, in that art. Okay. And so, and you really stand in your own 2 feet on that. So I really appreciate you speaking to that.